Hello and welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health. Every week on the program, we provide you with insightful information about NAFDAC's activities aimed at protecting the health of Nigerians. I am your host, Tosin Omolaja. Last week on the program, we started out on a one-on-one discussion with the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, on how the agency continues to raise the standards of quality as a regulatory agency. Today, we conclude that discussion by touching on a number of other issues the agency is working tirelessly to improve in order to deliver on its mandate to international standards. To attain global standards, the sort Professor Adeyeye has been working assiduously on since she took over as the Chief Executive Officer of NAFDAC in 2018. Customer satisfaction should be the number one priority. And indeed, this is enshrined in the agency's new mantra, customer-focused, agency-minded. To ensure that all of its workforce align with this new vision, the agency set up a reform unit to take complaints.
We have a reforms unit that takes customer complaints via phone, via email, text messages and whatnot. So our reforms unit work round the clock. We have a survey on our website. If you go to nafdac.gov.ng and on the right side you go to customer satisfaction survey, you click it, it will take you to a page where you fill the form in terms of satisfaction of whatever activity was rendered to that particular customer by NAFDAC staff. We have changed the way we communicate with our staff. We now have an 800 number. If it is complaint, it's 800 1 NAFDAC, 0800 1 NAFDAC, and or it is 0800 162 3322. 0800 162 3322. That is for complaints. If it's for inquiries, it's 0700 1 NAFDAC or 0700 162 3322. We also have a customer service form at our front desk, meaning you're going to see somebody on appointments. When you are coming out, you pick the customer service form and let us know of your experience. This is to make sure that the interaction between that client and the staff is optimum. Another thing that we do, of course, is continuous stakeholder meetings. We cannot stop stakeholders that, oh, we have arrived. No, because it's reinforcement. We have to keep reinforcing. Those that came for a stakeholders meeting one time may not be the same that will come the next time. So continuous stakeholders meeting to let them know that first, they don't need a consultant. NAFDAC is no longer NAFDAC of 3 years ago. Our staff have been trained. We are not 100%, compliant in terms of doing exactly what we are supposed to do, but it is night and day in terms of our response to customers. There is no time that a consumer sends me email that I don't reply, unless I'll be traveling and I miss it or something. But 97-98% of the time I reply, because I will just forward it straight to the director in charge. Please treat and revert, or treat accordingly, because we want to make sure that our customers are satisfied. That is our motto: customer focused, agency minded. It is not just hearsay or word of mouth or just something that you don't mean. We mean it, because it's part of our own image that we are building. It is part of making sure that NAFDAC is at a maturity level that WHO, which is auditing us, can say yes, we are a strong, matured organization.
The conundrum of importation of fake and unwholesome drugs is a phenomenon that stemmed from well-meaning policies stretching over the last 6 decades or more. Today, the agency has all hands on deck to stem that tide and restore sanity to the drug importation and distribution sector of the country.
Before NAFDAC was created, there was a law or a policy where people can actually import. You just have to get a license to import drugs. Anybody can do it. This was before NAFDAC was created. After NAFDAC was created, unfortunately, that policy was not abandoned. So what do we have now? We have traders, a lot of traders bringing in goods. Traders that don't know anything about medicines, but those traders have to use a pharmacist certificate to show that they have a pharmacist there. But sometimes that is it. And when you have traders bringing goods from China or India, and they will say, okay, put 30% of active ingredients, the drug itself, and you will use the drug, I will use the drug. If it's antibiotics, it will not work. You will think that it is somebody that wants to kill you in your village. No, it is bad medicine. It is substandard medicine or falsified medicine. So we have a problem now that I inherited, it's decades old, that we have allowed traders to get into the drug importation business. And if traders got into drug importation business, but they know the pharmacies that they have on their payroll or whatever, knows the effect of bad medicine on health, then maybe it wouldn't have mattered. But it's a concern now. So we are trying as much as possible to use a holistic approach, like what we just started doing from the pre-shipment. If they escape the CRI agents in China, we are waiting for them here. We will destroy the containers. 2018, tramadol was rained on us. I don't know what happened before I came. Tramadol was being rained on Nigeria, and I said, is this a war? So that our youth will not see their prime age? So that families will disintegrate? So that the workforce will be weaker? What is it? And NAFDAC once we got into the port, we started what we're supposed to be doing. We started intercepting containers and containers and containers of tramadol. It's not just NAFDAC alone doing its work. India also changed their rules. Before, they didn't have tight rules in terms of narcotics leaving their ports. But regulatory agencies all over the world are like a family, because we know where we meet. And when we meet, we start talking to each other. That, hello, you said for export only. Where is it coming to? If it's for export only, it's not good for your people. You think it's good for my people? I said that in China, in a forum. You have to put a rule down, because they said, our rule doesn't cover that. Anything that is going for export only. China and India are changing, because we are a family of regulatory agencies across the world. And WHO is overseeing whatever we are doing. So things are getting better. It is that we cannot compromise on our policies, but the ones that are there, we find a holistic way to ensure that will make life difficult for those who are importing bad medicines to kill us. Sometimes people think that bad medicines is just there and to not affect. If I go to the store today and I want to buy medicine, I may be a victim. And I'm the CEO of NAFDAC. Nobody is immune, especially when you are ill. It is, where do I get the antibiotic? Where do I get the analgesic? But you don't know what you are taking. So it is, we are fighting for ourselves. It's not, we're not, I'm not just fighting for NAFDAC. I want to take medicine that will work. So that's how concerned I am.
We'll take a short break now. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching NAFDAC and Your Health. Beyond importation, NAFDAC is also responsible for ensuring that medicines are not sold in compromising environments, as with drug hawking. The agency does well to mop up these bad medicines on a daily basis, and although this comes at great cost to the agency, it is a responsibility that can't be reneged upon even for one day, as wrongdoers aren't giving up their precarious trade.
It's a continuous fight. Let me give you an example. Abuja. We went after the hawkers. We seized a vehicle, one of their vehicles about 2 years ago, took all their wares, seized them. I think the second week or so, we found them in another part of the city. It's a continuous daily job for us. Because our people think that they can buy medicine from anywhere. No. You've got to buy medicine from pharmacies, from where you know that if you go back, you will meet the same person. Not somebody going around and saying that I have medicine that can heal 200 diseases. How can a medicine heal 200 diseases and you are buying it? So it is educating our people. It breaks my heart to see herbal medicines, especially liquid, being hawked in the sun. Very likely that herbal liquid medicine already has germs, microbes in it, and you now give it to a child, the child is going to convulsion or whatever. They will say it's the witch in their house. It's the bad medicine. Because our sun, the sun good sun that God gave us in Nigeria or in Africa, and the humidity, the combination of high humidity, meaning the moisture in the air, and high temperature can break so many things down, including even the orthodox medicine that we buy. That is why we go after storage. In our good distribution practice, we have to make sure that where they're storing it, there's air conditioning and whatnot there. But now talk of hawkers exposed to the sun and then selling that medicine to people, whether it's liquid, whether it's tablet or whatever. The tendency to break down, to degrade, is in folds. But we do that every time. It is that they just take their wares to another corner. Again, when it comes to enforcement, if you have 5 vehicles in Abuja, you will do more work than if you have 1 vehicle. So that is part of what makes NAFDAC a complex organization, and people have to understand that we have a huge task and we need huge funding, huge support. Most of our expenses are from the revenues we generate. So that makes it even more challenging. But we are coping. We now know how to spend money prudently. That doesn't mean that we are there yet, but we know how to spend money prudently, because the money you save is the money you're going to use for vehicles. It's the money you're going to use for computers. It's the money you're going to use for laboratory equipment. so that they will test the medicine and say, oh yeah, it's falsified medicine or it's not falsified medicine. So all these things link with each other.
NAFDAC and other relevant agencies are working round the clock to dismantle hotspots for fake drugs distribution across the country. A point in case is the Onitsha drug market scene, and all hands are on deck to ensure drug distribution and sales in these parts and indeed across Nigeria is properly monitored and traceable.
First of all, in terms of the Onitsha bridgehead, uh, NAFDAC is doing a lot of work uh, around the country. We now have, as part of the National Task Force, we have the Asaba zonal office for the task force, and we have been seizing a lot of products. We have been seizing a lot of products. Some are under prosecution, some, of course, confiscation and fines. But like I said, this is not just NAFDAC. PCN and NAFDAC are working together to ensure that the coordinated wholesale centers, what is called the coordinated wholesale center, is supposed to be in Onitsha. And the deadline for that CWC to have been installed was December 2018. It hasn't been. We are revisiting it right now. As we speak, we are revisiting it to ensure that the coordinated wholesale centers are in place. Once they are in place, we will be able to monitor better. It is a huge problem, but some of the people that make medicine or whatever, they are also understanding where the government is going. That these coordinated wholesale centers must be in place. Kano is already building its own. It's almost like what we call drug mall. Like you go to ShopRite, you will see so many shops, but it will be they will be dealing or selling medicines, and NAFDAC will be there, PCN will be there, NDLA will be there to monitor. So that is what we are waiting for right now, and we are working towards that.
Another area of concern for the agency is the sale of medicines and other regulated products online.
Big concern, and it's global. It's not just NAFDAC or Nigeria rather. I've forgotten the rate of falsified medicines through e-commerce on online. Maybe it's about 50-60% of medicines that are bought online are substandard or falsified. So we are now growing into how to tackle that. PCN is the agency that is in charge of professional practice and regulation. For example, if a pharmacist or if something is being sold online, it must be done by a pharmacist that is registered with PCN. That doesn't mean that if we know NAFDAC, if we know that it's a bad medicine that has no quality, we cannot go after them. Our law allows us to go after them too. But it is both PCN and NAFDAC now developing new strategies to face this challenge. But it's global. As it is here in Nigeria, so it is in the US or Europe.
The decision of the government to ban the sale of alcohol in sachet is a major step forward in the fight to curb the rising trend of alcohol abuse amongst young people and especially underage drinkers. The DG appealed to producers of alcoholic beverages to always consider the social impact of their business decisions.
NAFDAC and Ministry of Health met with the Distillers Association, the companies making sachet alcohols, and we let them know that you can think of business, and there's nothing wrong in thinking of business. But we also have to think of the society. We had series of meetings at the Ministry of Health, and then we came to, because unfortunately, this didn't happen overnight. They have hundreds of people working for them. They have machineries that they've been using for ages or what, for I don't know how long. So we said, okay, we're going to do this in phases. We're going to reduce the level, we told them you have to reduce the level of alcohol in sachets. And they've reduced the level of alcohol now, but by 2023 ending, or first week 2024, there will no longer be sachet alcohol. Meaning it's going to be banned, but the process is progressive in terms of what they're supposed to do. But it's not just that. I took them to task. I said, look, you're a business organization or you have a group of organizations. There is what is called corporate social responsibility. You should go on the streets, you should fund advertisements to campaign against underage drinking. And they responded very well. Now we have jingles, we started having jingles now that will be airing next week or so about underage drinking. Because if you are a good business company, man or whatever, you shouldn't be afraid to think of the social consequences of the business. The society will respect that business better because they are confronting the social aspect. If I see such a business, I don't mind, buying something from them because they are not hiding their heads in the sand, so to say. They are thinking of the children and the consequences of what that may do.
Deterring violation of regulatory guidelines requires stiffer penalties than currently attainable. This is a matter the agency is taking with all seriousness.
Right now, we are trying to look at our act to make sure that we increase the fines that we give to those who violate our regulatory controls. And we are planning to work with the judiciary to ensure that whatever penalty that they are giving for a particular crime suits the crime, fits the crime. You have to make it, they have to feel it in the pocket. Those who are violating our rules, our controls. And what we do is we give them heavy fines. Some we prosecute, but we give heavy fines and seize and destroy their products. It has to hurt in the pocket to set deterrent, because that is part of what you were asking. So our work is huge in terms of ensuring that our people get the medicine they deserve, which is good quality medicine, food that they deserve, not unwholesome food. That is not food that will kill them.
That's our package for the week. Join us again next week, same time, same station, as we bring you a fresh edition. In the meantime, if you have questions, comments or inquiries, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700-162-3322. For complaints, please call 0800-162-3322 or email nafdac@nafdac.gov.ng. Remember that safeguarding the health of the nation is our collective responsibility. Let's stay vigilant and report suspicious activities of fake and unwholesome food and drugs or activities that create them in our areas. Till next week, stay safe.